with us here in studio. I have a question for you. Somebody has actually sent me a document, a KEBS document for a meeting that was held, I believe, on the 1st of February 2019, that resolved that the use of non-woven plastic bags to go on until the end of September 2019, when it's expected that a standard will be put into place. I haven't been able to independently verify the authenticity of this document. I can actually give you a chance to read this. But were there meetings that agreed that we might look at the directive you issued in September, and if so, why did you agree to call for stop the use of these non-woven plastic bags as early as this month?
What's on record is that we gave out a directive in November.
In November?
To discontinue use end of December. Then on 13th, or is it 14th of December, we had a meeting with the stakeholders, including manufacturers, Retail Traders Association of Kenya, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and some representatives of users, and agreed to extend that deadline for 3 months. And then around
that will take it around March.
Yeah, and that is when we issued now the guidelines and the directive that the time has come up.
Yeah.
Those are the only official communication that deliberations we have had with industry on the same.
Yes.
If I can comment, I mean, I think we participated in both meetings.
Actually, I think I've seen your name there.
KAM was there. And the reality is, again, I think is like we said earlier, we have two regulators in this space. There is the standards regulator and there is NEMA regulator. So this was a conversation we had with the KEBS about how do we fast track the development of a standard. And we've gone back again even now, given the issues that NEMA raised in 31st and said from 31st of March, and saying, can we even fast track faster to get this standard in place quicker? So that meeting did happen, but again, because we have two bodies, what we are trying as industry is to say, why don't we all sit together in one room and agree the way forward on this issue? And I think we are making some progress in that regard. And like we mentioned before, we're having conversations on a new standard with input both from NEMA and KEBS, so which we can implement here.
All right. And as we wrap up, DG, there's a question here from Waura. He says, I haven't heard anything about electronic waste. Kenya has become a dumping site for substandard computers and electronic goods. You go to Ngara and you will see them all over. As you give us your final remarks as well. What is the plan for electronic waste?
There is going to be a regulation for electronic waste. We've developed that regulation and it's gone through a lot of review for 2 years because there was a lot of stakeholder consultations. And now it's at the level of the AG. There have been a few clarifications sought from us, the regulators, and even from industry, to tie up the loose ends on that regulation. The Cabinet Secretary is fast-tracking it, and it's in the interest of the Republic that we have that e-waste regulation, and it's going to be perhaps much sooner than we expect.
Okay. Any final remarks as well? Yeah. So henceforth, what should we expect?
My final remarks are that we expect that the case in court will end soon. We are ready to dialogue, but public participation has to be for issues which are of concern, and we need also a lot of goodwill from all the partners that participate in public participation. And NEMA is always there for the good of the citizens, not a few people who may have interests, but we want to develop a framework which is good policy, which is predictable for industry to invest, and also that protects the citizens, particularly those who may not understand the issues that we are dealing with. We have to protect them. Thank you.
Shai?
Yeah, I think I'll just end. There's a nice storybook I came across, published last year, called The Wizard and the Prophet, about the environment. And I think it highlights what are the issues. Environmental issues have been there for a long time. And this book is about two scientists who lived in the 50s. And one was Barlow and another one was Watt. So they had both sides. So one said, look, the environment is getting too used. In fact, he's the one who started the whole issue of carrying capacity. That how much can the environment take? And he was even saying the population is too high. We can't feed the population. So what are we going to do? We need to cut population. This is way back in the 40s and early 50s. But the other guy called Barlow, I think it was Barlow, who went and said, okay, we don't have enough food to feed the people. What are we going to do about it? Can we start the science and investigating how can we be creative about producing more food? And he's actually considered, he became a Nobel Prize winner. He's the father of the Green Revolution. He helped Mexico, India, a lot of countries, multiply production by 10 times. And if it was not for him, you and I would not be here, because we would have been saying there is too much population. Our parents may not have been allowed to have us as children because the population was getting too high. So we have an environmental problem with plastic. But there are solutions. There are scientific solutions. We can find the solutions around them and implement them. So what we are pleading for and what we ask government is let's take the perspective, and it's again also consumers and everybody, of finding the solutions. Because these things, we are using them. We did not start using them out of a mistake or with an intention to pollute or anything. We were using them because they are useful. They are helping us do something. So how can we use them and maintain the planet at the same time? And build an economy at the same time. The three do not have to be against each other. They can all work together.
They can work together.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take that as final comments for this discussion. We have some feedback, I believe, and of course, we want to say thank you to Mushaiki Kunyiha, who's the Vice Chairman of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and PET Subsector Chair as well. Thank you so much for joining us, together with Prof. Geoffrey Wahungu, the Director General of NEMA. Asante sana. And of course, thank you to our viewers, some of you who have texted in as well. Let's read that feedback now.
Let's see what you're saying on text, and you don't leave a name, but you say the disposal of Pampers diapers in urban areas is becoming a huge nuisance with careless littering in the open. Can NEMA consider banning Pampers?
Pampers is a brand name, I believe. So do you mean diapers?
you mean the diapers.
You mean diapers. Yes. Okay. Bernard Roby from Kehancha. I would like to know why some companies were exempted on plastic bags ban, bread and salt. We've already tackled this.
That was explained earlier on, the exemptions that came in. You don't leave a name. You say the biggest problem is the non-reusable glass bottles from cheap liquor that you find thrown anywhere in towns and private lands as well.
I trust the NEMA Director General is taking notes on this. Find another one here. You don't give us your name, but you say we should use Sisal-based products. The businessmen know that, but they import products that don't create jobs in Kenya and are substandard.
All right. Do we have some tweets as well? All right. Thank you so much. We'll keep it at that point. We'll have to leave it there because of time. When we come back, Zinzi Kibiku is speaking to a game changer. That's a